Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Alright, let's quickly clear something up. A few of you have reached out to me about AJ. Has he left Derek James? Is he now full-time with Ben Davison? This is because of an article in the BBC which I think has been taken out of context. AJ has certainly not left Derek James. AJ is still with Derek James. Yes, he did do some work with Ben Davison, but Ben Davison isn't his new head coach. It still remains Derek James. As I said to you guys a couple of weeks ago, AJ is in Austin, Texas. He was there for the F1. He did do something where he went into some sort of secluded village or camp for a few days, but he is with Derek James. I think they've started training and AJ will look to come out and fight again in December. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure why people took that out of context. I don't know if the article's been worded wrongly, or maybe because we heard that AJ was sort of ticking along with Ben Davison. But again, just to confirm, as far as I know, AJ is still very much with Derek James, and he will be in his corner for this December fight, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let's start with this one. Caleb Plant believes his skills are top 5 pound for pound. No, and that's not being disrespectful to Caleb Plant. I think he's a very good boxer, but skill-wise, he's certainly not top 5 pound for pound. I think I could probably name 20 fighters that I think skill-wise are better than Caleb Plant, who again, this isn't me trying to be disrespectful. He is a very good boxer, but skill-wise, certainly not top 5 pound for pound. Ben Shalom would like to see Tommy Fury, Vidal Riley next. Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. Look, you know, that Tommy Fury KSI fight, yeah, although Tommy Fury didn't look good, KSI is so awkward. So awkward. And it must be weird when you're so used to fighting boxers who kind of do the same things, right? You can kind of read what boxers are going to do. And then KSI does that. Not sticking up for Tommy Fury. I thought his performance wasn't great. But I do feel like he's been, I don't know, he's got a lot of stick for that performance. But yet when I watched it, I was thinking, geez, how do you deal with someone like KSI who just rushes in, who fights weird, almost fights in like an MMA stance? It is quite strange. As for this fight, Tommy Fury, Vidal Riley, no. I mean, Vidal Riley is sort of far too good, I think, for Tommy Fury. Far too good. I mean, I think Vidal Riley will give Isaac Chamberlain a good fight. I really do. Vidal Riley's English champion. They might even try and make that fight. If you're Isaac Chamberlain, I can see why you maybe don't want that. You don't want to, again, no disrespect to Vidal Riley, you don't want to go down. You want to kind of look that way. Where if you're Vidal Riley, I can understand why you're chasing Isaac Chamberlain. But the only reason why Vidal Riley would fight Tommy Fury is because of their name. Like, that's it. I mean, Vidal Riley should be looking upwards as well to some of the good kids in the country. Tommy Fury hasn't proven that he's that yet. Eddie Hearn floats Caballero, Hrgovic, Otto Volin, Manuel Charr as possible opponents for AJ's December fight. I really do not want it to be Manuel Charr. I'm putting it out there now, right? So if it does get announced, then, you know, I can't back it. I can't defend it. I don't want to see Manuel Charr get the opportunity. I think he's useless. I think he's useless, and I think not only is he useless, I think it's a step backwards from Jermaine Franklin and Helenius. Like, you know, you could make an argument for Helenius just because I thought prior to the Wilder defeat, he looked very good against Kalnacki, so I was trying to sell that. You can make an argument for Jermaine Franklin because Jermaine Franklin, a lot of people thought beat Dillian White, but even if he didn't, he was competitive. Manuel Charr, there's nothing I can say. Do you know what I mean? Nothing I can say. Otto Volin, yeah, we can talk about that. We can certainly talk about Hrgovic, and we can certainly talk about Caballero. So any of those three, very happy with. Any of those three for your third fight, more than happy with. I'm just happy that he's having a third fight. But I think Hrgovic, who's unbeaten, kind of. Otto Volin, we know what he brings to the table. And Caballero is an interesting one because I don't think Caballero has done much since the Chisora win, which was, I'm going to say about 6 years ago. But he's still a good fighter. When you watch him, he can actually fight. So any of those three, yes. Manuel Charr, absolutely no. Tyson Fury vows not to make the same mistake that Joshua did with Ruiz. That's slightly different. Ruiz is a boxer, a legit boxer as well. Francis Ngannou isn't. Let's talk about this fight. Obviously, it happens this weekend. A decent undercard as well. I fly out on Wednesday morning for it. Looking forward to seeing what it is. I think I heard that there'll be 2 rings. I don't quite understand that. So the undercard action will be taking place in 1 ring, and I'm guessing the main card action will be taking place in another. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I was just thinking about Francis Ngannou. I tweeted something out about him yesterday, that his story is incredible. It genuinely is a movie. Like, his story is a movie. I mean, this guy illegally crossed the border to get into Spain when he was 25, got caught, got put in jail, then illegally crossed that border when he got released to go to France, was homeless. You know, people say they were homeless. Like, I was homeless, but I was living in a homeless hostel when I was a teenager into my early 20s. So I was in a homeless hostel. So I always had a roof over my head, although it was classed as a homeless hostel. He was homeless, like street homeless, living on the street. That was 10 years ago. That journey from then to now it's unbelievable. It's honestly, it's a movie. It really is a movie. Like, almost just parking aside what he done in the UFC, where obviously he, you know, made some money, became UFC Heavyweight champion. For him to go from homeless to fighting the heavyweight champion of the world and making, I think Tyson Fury revealed, $10 million, and to have Mike Tyson in his corner. Like, life is crazy. Like, that shows you that anything is possible. You know, when people like to say, you know, maybe that dream of yours is a bit far-fetched, anything's possible, because that there is just sensational. That being said, all that was very nice, right? All that was great and good, and, you know, more power to him. This is a boxing match, and Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight on the planet, and Francis Ngannou, I don't believe, has had a fight. And I know he when he started putting the gloves on, it wasn't to do MMA or kickboxing, it was to box. So he's always wanted to box, but there's a difference between always wanting to box and fighting someone that has always boxed. Tyson Fury is just far too good for him. Like, far too good for him. Like, the levels between these two are incredible. I know Ngannou has this will to win, and I know when you hear that kind of backstory, you're not going to tell that person that you're not going to do anything, or you're not going to achieve anything, or you're not going to become the best heavyweight on the planet. It's difficult to kind of tell that to someone who's been through what Francis Ngannou has been through, but sometimes logic has to apply, and the logic here says that Tyson Fury could dismantle him whenever he wants. Like, dismantle him. I saw Tyson Fury a couple of weeks ago at the Misfits card, clearly in shape, the jawline's starting to come, and he's taking this seriously. He's taking this seriously because he knows the check that's in front of him for Alexander Usyk is astronomical, $100 million, they're saying. So he's not going to take Ngannou lightly, but Ngannou has, if I was to break it down in percentages, has probably I think 2%, 2 to 5% chance. And the 5% is only because he's a big, strong man who can hit like a truck. I mean, I've covered him in the UFC. I've watched all these fights, and he does hit very, very hard. But those guys aren't as elusive as Tyson Fury, and he's going into those fights as a big favorite as well. Fury's too good for him. Fury's far too good for him. But I think I said this yesterday, I want him to catch Fury. I do, because I want there to be some sort of jeopardy on the line. Because again, we're walking into this one, or going into this one, I think everyone's believing Fury just cakewalks it. And I want there to be some sort of, oh, hello. I want that moment, and hopefully we get that moment. But nah, I just can't see it. I can't see it. And for Fury to make the comparison with Andy Ruiz is just cheeky. It's just ridiculously, there is no comparison. Andy Ruiz has been boxing since he was a kid, and AJ on the night just wasn't as good as Andy Ruiz. But Andy Ruiz is a boxer who fought for a world title against Joseph Parker, and a lot of people thought he won that fight. So the comparisons are wrong. But yeah, I give Francis Ngannou basically no chance. Honestly, no chance whatsoever. And if he were to pull this off, then, I mean, it's the biggest upset in the sport ever. Like, the biggest upset in the sport. Think how big the upsets are for like AJ Ruiz and Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. This is that times a million, because those guys were boxers. Buster Douglas, legit boxer. Andy Ruiz, legit boxer. This is an MMA guy. Nah, no chance. No chance. What else? Joshua feels that Wilder fight could still land on the same card as Fury Usyk. Yeah, I spoke to him about this, and he mentioned it to me, and I was like, but that's what, I mean, there's people saying this. There's a lot of people saying that could happen. Doubt it. Like, the two, why would you don't need to combine WrestleMania and Super Bowl in the same night. Do you know what I mean? You spread that out a little bit. Like, I mean, look, the Saudis might want to do it, but like, you put them on, you could even put them on separate weekends, like back-to-back weeks, you could do that. And they would both do incredible numbers. So from a broadcaster standpoint, it makes no sense. I would love it, right? As a fan, I'll do it, right? But it makes no sense as a broadcaster to put on Fury Usyk and AJ Wilder on the same night when you know separately both of those fights could do 1 million. Like, AJ Wilder does over 1 million pay-per-view buys. It does over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Fury Usyk could touch 1 million as well. Why would you combine them? Because if you combine them, it doesn't mean it does 2 million. It doesn't. It would still just do 1 million, right? So yeah, I think you'll separate them, but yeah, we'll see. Fury wants 10 more fights after Ngannou. Boxing will be effed when I'm gone. He's certainly not going to have 10 more fights. He's 35 now. The thing is, yeah, with Fury could fight 3 times a year. I really do believe he could do that. So, I mean, if he fights until he's 38, 39, he can get those 10 fights in, but I doubt he's going to do that. Eddie Hearn floats Catchwell versus Taylor rematch at catchweight. I don't think Jack would go up to 147. No. Why catchweight though? I mean, Josh Taylor fought Teofimo Lopez at 140. Didn't complain about the weight. Jack's 140. Do it at 140. It's not like Josh has gone up to 147, had a couple of fights, and then you're asking him to squeeze back down into 140. He's a 140 fighter until he fights at 147. He hasn't done that yet. Let's see if we can make this fight at 140. Trust me, there'll be conversations happening right now about that fight, because I don't think Jack's going to get a world title fight next. I mean, I don't know what belt did he have? Did he win WBA Continental? I don't know if that means he's mandatory for the WBA title. I doubt it. So yeah, make that fight. You know, I was just thinking, as I said about Tyson Fury fighting 3 times a year, and I was thinking about the demise of Showtime, and I feel like more people need to have a conversation as to what the fuck happened there, because it's disgraceful. You know, it goes back to what I said about Andrew Ruiz on yesterday's video, the day before, like fighting no times this year, once in 2022, once in 2021, not in 2020. When you look at the roster of fighters that PBC had, right? If those guys were honestly, like, this sport could be, it's so incredible. If those guys were giving you 3 fights a year, do you know how big it would be? Like, PBC ruined Showtime. It's a fact. It's a fact. I mean, I'm not a PBC hater. I'm not one of those. I see people sort of do that on videos. I'm not that, but PBC ruined it. Ruined it. Yes, it gave us a couple of big pay-per-views. Thank you very much. But those are not your bread and butter. Your bread and butter are weekend shows every week. Like, every week, just do a show, do a show, do a show. And again, you look at the roster of fighters under that PBC banner. And again, if those guys were to fight 3 times, dare I say it, 4 times a year, it would be incredible. But we didn't get it. Honestly, didn't get it. Like, look at the Jamal Charlo situation. I mean, they're talking about Danny Garcia versus Lara. Those guys, at best, are giving you fucking 1 fight every 18 months at best. Keith Thurman, Mr. Talker, like, part-time boxer. You think of some of the names that are under that banner. When Broner was under the banner, like, it literally had superstar name after superstar name after superstar name that you think could have, like, even if they were to give you what Floyd does or Floyd did or what Canelo does twice a year, September, May, September, May, September, May, September, May, do something like that. They didn't do that. And that's why it died. Ultimately, that's why it died. That, for the fact it didn't give you enough content, and the fact that when it did give you fighters, they were getting overpaid, that clearly not worth what they think they were. But they had to pay them that because of other broadcasters wanting to nick that talent, right? So if you're Fighter X and Showtime wants to pay you 1.5, Showtime will pay you 3 because you know that DAZN will pay you that money or ESPN will pay you that money to get you on their broadcast. So they were overpaying fighters for years, and it's a shame. What a massive shame. And I think, again, more needs to be spoken about that. Anyway, guys and girls, we are done. We will do numerous videos this week. I'll do a Tyson Fury video tomorrow. What if he loses conversation. And if we find out, fingers crossed we do, more about AJ and Eubank, Ben and other bits, we'll do those videos as well. We are definitely going to be filming in Saudi Arabia. I'm not taking any of this stuff I've got because obviously there'll be loads of mics and cameras out there, but we'll definitely do some content out there as well. Peace and love.